was the media will just reverse ferret.
Okay.
So, have you heard about reverse ferreting?
Is that simply them saying, well, we said it all along?
Well, it's even better than that, yeah. So in British media, right, a reverse ferret is a sudden reversal in an organisation's editorial or political line on a certain issue. Generally, this will involve no acknowledgement of the previous position.
It's because people love a show, so give them a show.
You know, all these little meetings they have in council offices and things, you know, around the water cooler, should be a camera there with a feed, and someone should be able to look at that and go, oh, they're talking about building a motorway without really telling anyone, but trying to get it through on the back door.
Good evening and welcome to Veridora Green News, the only channel that brings you the latest updates on the environmental issues in Veridora. Another breaking news story tonight. President Benn launches probe into President John's decision to spare Eastern Forest of Veridora.
I'm an infuriated First Minister and Party leader here. I mean, we need this ceasefire. We need to get more aid into Scotland. Scottish people here are struggling. They're homeless. They're dispossessed. They've lost all hope. The grasp of independence is fading away. And Keir Starmer's just... He should be on my team, you know. I mean, really, if he thinks he's going to win, he needs to take some votes off of the SNP. In fact, I'm getting to the point, I'm thinking that to save my own skin, I might need to jump ship myself, because things are not looking good in Scotland.
Well, good evening. No, Shalini, this is not the usual Wednesday night show. This is going to be like old times. We've got here, I'm here, we're sitting here, and we've got this view as well. So we can go and have a look at things if we want to chat about them. Hi there, Jesse. Hi there, Shalini. Hi, Emma Watts. And hi to anybody indeed that does come along. tonight. John is feeling a little bit under the weather tonight, so I thought I would take the reins, so to speak, jump on board and come and have a chat, see how everybody is. Do it just like old times, I guess. Could last half an hour, could last an hour. We'll see how it goes. And we'll just take it, play it by ear, and we'll have a bit of a chat. If those of you were around before the Chasing Dissent days, I used to do exactly this from my shed, and I would sit there in my shed and do this 3 p.m. every weekday, and I mean, he's not feeling totally ill. He's just feeling a little bit under the weather. So I thought, well, why not? We'll come back tonight. I'll take the reins. I mean, I'm not sure there is. I wish I had a way for you to call in, but I don't think I do. I mean, I could get you to call me on WhatsApp, and I could put you on the speaker if you wanted to call in a bit later. I don't mind. We could do that if you'd like. I'm easy. I'm open. I'm pretty much. We'll take it. We'll play it by ear, and we'll go bit by bit, and we'll see what's getting you guys up. What's getting your goat? What's concerning you? Do you want or need to talk about anything in particular, or should we just randomly scroll through the internet and scroll through Twitter and see if there's anything that's worth chatting about? I mean, this will be comedy gold for my troll. Hi. But still, we're here. Let's do it. I don't know how long it's going to last. Good evening, Rob Bruce. Good evening. So let's go. Let's go and look at Twitter for a minute, shall we? Look, there's a little advertisement telling you all to come to the show. Can you see my mouse here? I think you can. So we'll see. We'll just have a look through. We'll see what's going on. We'll see if anything's worth chatting about. I'm rambling on as we do. So if there's anything in particular you want to talk about, then feel free to jump in and let me know in the chat. I mean, if you want to jump on and give me a call on WhatsApp, Shalini, I'll try and sort it out so that it comes through. Just give me a call and I'll see how it goes. If that's how you want to start the night, I honestly don't mind. So entirely up to you, to be honest. Jesse's wrapping Christmas presents. It's the 11th of November, 15th, sorry, the 15th of November, Jess. The 15th of November. That's a bit soon. I'm just going to say it. I mean, I know I've got the mini tree up. Hold on a sec. I'm going to answer this. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, I can hear you, and I think they can hear you as well.
Why is Jess wrapping Christmas presents?
Well, I just asked the same question. It's the 15th of November, Shalini. It's the 15th of... She says my decorations are going up Sunday. I mean, to be fair, I'm not going to lie to you, Shalini, and I'm not going to lie to you guys.
Jess, that's bad luck. That is seriously like bad luck, dude.
Do you believe in the superstition then?
No, not really, but I'm not going to put my Christmas... Look, all the Christmas stuff has been out in the shops, as you well know, as per the pound shop, since October. It is too early to be doing anything for Christmas. Like, I understand people have to buy stuff for their kids and everything, but the Christmas tree, Jess, should not be going up.
Also, if you wrap your presents too early, demons will kill you.
Oh, Jesus Christ, he's here.
I know. Love it.
Good evening, Vaughan. Good evening. So anything?
Oh, it's like the old shed days, I tell you.
Yeah, well, that was the idea. I mean, John wasn't feeling too great. You know, he's a little bit worn out. Bless him. So
he's got that flipping pup. Well, his wife got rescue that puppy. So
yeah, no. And then the other dog's got a foot infection, so he's got that to deal with.
Yeah, because he said that was that on Friday. He said that the vet's bill was ridiculous.
Yeah, and I mean, I can concur, because even if we want to get out any one of our animals seen just to get them through the door, it's 50 quid. It's
Yeah,
it's
that's a rip-off.
well, it is, because they know how much that we care about our animals, so they use it against us in order to financially, screw us and take the piss, shall we say?
Yes, no, that's true. Oh, I was going to say, but people may know because if they already follow Bert, and we've got a problem. So apparently there's because Vaughan didn't know about it. So it was his video from, I think it was yesterday.
Right.
So there's like a pro-Israel march now on the 23rd, apparently, in London.
Yeah, that's not going to go bad at all, is it?
No.
It's going to be a shit show.
Because I want to bet any money there's going to be a pro-Palestine march the same day.
Well, there's one going on right now. There's one going on right now outside Parliament that is, it looks like a war zone down there.
Yeah, they're letting off flares climbing up and shit.
Well, I logged it. I always have a quick look at Gab in the morning, kind of like while I'm getting ready, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And apparently there was still part of central London was closed off yesterday. Yesterday evening.
Okay, well, I've just seen some video before I came here of the pro-Palestinian protesters in London. They're outside GB News about half an hour ago, and they're chanting.
Where is the GB News studio?
Well, it's not far. It's in central London. And they're outside GB News, and they're chanting "fascist scum" at the building. Now,
so the thing is, right? Okay, so, and a lot of people have said, and anybody who's like half got a brain, because obviously we were on the freedom protest, so we know how heavily the TSG and the police.
We saw it all, yeah, we did.
Yeah, and obviously we all know how the BLM marches were handled, and we know how the pro-Palestine marches have been like handled. So they're getting like a free. It's just going to be a free for all. And the thing that I've said like on a couple of videos now, and other people have starting to say this as well, is like nobody's going to want to come up into. Look, I'm not like I go do Christmas shopping up the West End. But, sometimes it's nice to go up, have a look at the lights, that kind of thing, just to kind of get a bit Christmassy. Nobody's going to want to come into central London.
No, and I mean, do you know what? I think it's going to affect people's businesses and stuff. This. Well, for those of you that are listening right now, Shalini and Vaughan here on the phone were the people I called when I was considering going up to central London to cover these pro-Palestine marches. Because let's face it, Vaughan is like a big Cockney Hulk, I could do with the muscle, shall we say? But
and I'm little, so I wouldn't be much use.
Well, your presence is always a joy, and it's always welcome. So yes, you would be used in that respect, but when they said they couldn't attend, there was absolutely no way I was going to attend, because quite frankly, I knew this was going to be policed differently. I also knew that if I ended up asking a question, which one of these pro-Palestine marchers could, and far leftists, I'll say that, because they seem to be marching hand in hand, even though they're so diametrically opposed ideologically, it's weird. But if I asked a question that they deemed offensive or wrong, or I spoke out of turn, I can't guarantee my safety. And
no.
I'll say that the same thing for obviously any protest you go to, but I would say at the anti-lockdown protests, you were more likely to engage in an intellectual debate, even if you thought the people you were debating with were wrong, rather than fists being thrown. And from what I've seen here, I mean, I saw on the last Saturday just past, the march in London, an Iranian man, he was holding up a sign that said Hamas are terrorists, and one of the marchers tried to stab him. Right? One of the marchers tried to stab him.
And that is the truth. I'm not saying that Israel or whatever, because a lot of people are like, oh, Israel this and that, but we all know that Hamas, what Hamas is, but the mere fact that somebody like that is holding up a sign and saying Hamas are terrorists, and then he gets attacked. What does that tell you?
Well, I mean, in this country, in Britain, Hamas are a prescribed terrorist organisation. That's a fact. They are prescribed by the British government, and they are prescribed by many European governments as well. And I'm not too sure if the United States of America have, but they are prescribed. And
but also, there's a flipping ex-Hamas leader who flipping well lives in London.
And isn't he also coordinating these marches? I believe.
I believe so.
At least I know at least one ex-Hamas person is coordinating these marches. And if you are a member of a prescribed terrorist organisation, even if you've left that terrorist organisation, I really do think it's incumbent on security services to keep a close, watchful eye on somebody who has been a member, a leader in a prescribed organisation. But that's just advice. That's just advice. Whether or not the British government want to take that, it's up to them.
And also, it's come to light through, I can't remember if I saw it on Meyer 2C, or maybe it was Bert again, or whoever. But there's somebody who's very pro-Hamas who's advising the CPS. Did you all know? I'm sure people do.
I didn't.
I'm sure, I can't remember if it was Meyer 2C, or if it was Bert, or maybe it was PJ Watson, or
I believe I do know. I believe I do know this story. I believe is it a Greenwich Imam? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it.
I can't remember.
But still.
Did you not know that? Yeah, I know. Like what? The actual Jeff.
Well, at the end of the day, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say I still don't really understand why we have marches on our streets, because we're thousands of miles away. We're thousands of miles away, and our government, even if our government stepped in and did what these protesters asked, which is demand a ceasefire, what exactly is our government saying that going to achieve? What's that going to achieve in the Middle East? Nothing.
Israel's not going to listen to that.
And neither are Hamas, because Hamas was on. Again, this was in another video. I don't remember if it was PJ Watson, Mayor 2C, Bert, somebody. He did, I don't know, maybe it was with some Lebanon TV channel or whatever, basically saying they're going to carry on doing what they're doing to Israel, basically, but carry on. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, this war between, let's call it the Israeli-Palestinian war for a minute. It's been going on since the beginning. It's been
going on for eons.
It's been going on. Well, it certainly goes back further than the creation of the nation of Israel. There is historic fights over that land of thousands of years, and at the end of the day, the British government saying let's have a ceasefire is not going to do anything.
No, of course it's not.
So why are these people really on the streets? And I mean, I don't want you to answer that question. I want people to think on that question, and they can give me an answer if they'd like, but I'd really like them to think about it. Why are these people who know that what they are demanding, via sometimes, not all the time, violent means, why are these people really on the streets? Because they know the British government are not going to be able to affect any kind of change in the Middle East. Especially with people like Tony Blair and David Cameron seemingly back in the picture.
Tony Blair is supposed to be what? Some peace, whatever his role is called, something coordinator. It's like, really? Are you absolutely serious? What the heck?
I mean, if this is true, I want to preface this with if this is true. If this is true, that they've made Tony Blair some kind of humanitarian coordinator for Palestine.
That's what it is. Humanitarian. I said peace, but that was it. It was a humanitarian coordinator.
I mean,
it's a joke, isn't it?
A joke is an understatement. They call this man in Islamic circles a butcher. They call him a butcher because he was at the helm when what, 1 million Iraqis were slaughtered? A million Iraqis under Tony Blair, and then you're going to take people who have the same ideological beliefs fundamentally, who saw those Iraqis as brothers and sisters, and you're going to say to them, now you're going to trust this man to be your humanitarian coordinator. They're not going to trust him.
No.
They're not. They're not going to trust him. I wouldn't trust him. I don't trust him. I don't trust any of them.
I don't trust any of them. Yeah, we're both thinking on that same channel.
Well, I mean, if I've ever tried to drive a message home to anybody, it's that these people don't have your best interests at heart. They never have done. They never will do. The only people that can really have your best interests at heart are you and your family.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's it.
Always
they don't give tuppence halfpenny.
Yeah, always make sure you can take care of you and yours first, because I think we'll all get by okay if we live along those lines.
Right, I'm gonna like end the call there, but that's been fun because it's like I miss calling in, because I used to call in all the time when you did the shed, if you remember.
Yeah.
Because that's when I was working from home.
Yeah.
Yes, those days.
Yeah.
God, that seems like eons ago now.
You know what? I've really enjoyed it too.
In my younger days.
I mean, we've all got a few more lines on our faces since then, haven't we? Let's face it. We're aging, and we're aging terribly. Well, I am. And the more I lose,
no, you're not. You're still a pup.
Look, the more I lose weight off my face, if you look, I smile, and I've got these lines under my eyes now that weren't there a while ago, and I'm starting to think maybe I should put the weight back on just to flatten those lines back out.
Some pseudo cream or something under your eyes. I don't know.
Jesse says I look old. Why, thank you very much, Jesse.
Yeah. All right, then we're gonna end it there. So
and don't remember, guys.
Good night from Brixton. Bye.
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 I was just going to tell him to sponsor my balls. Okay, John, I received your message. I saw it pop up. That's fine. That's cool. And I'm glad you're watching. And if you want to get involved in the chat, John, and say hi to people, then feel free to do so. It is bloody nice. It's bloody nice to have a little call in and a little chat and just catch up with people, see how they are. And yeah, I wish I did have the phone lines open. Going back to what Harold said earlier, I wish I did have the phone lines open, but that was just WhatsApp. I don't know if you've got my number on WhatsApp. So if you've got my number on WhatsApp and you want to drop me a call, then feel free to do so. But for safety reasons, I'm not going to drop it out on here if that's okay. Well, look, John, the audience are saying hello to you as well. And do you know what, guys? I would appreciate a little like on the stream if you are enjoying it. I would appreciate it. So, anyhow, what's going on in the world then? Let's go and have a little look, shall we? Oh, look at that. Move the screen around. It looks yeah, I've done that. Anywho, so what's going on in the world? That's obviously us. Unqualified support of Israelis' allies over Gaza is no longer a given, with marked shift in rhetoric, says Sky News. Rob Bruce, Iceland is indeed interesting. Is there anything going on there at the moment? Let's have a look through. It's not trending. David Lammy and Keir Starmer are both trending. Jesus. Well, let's have a look. Let's go through. Let's go through the Twitters and let's have a look together. And let's have a look. So we're going to go to Iceland. You go to Iceland and you get scenes from Parliament. There you go. That's from Caroline Coram, who I might be doing a space with on Sunday. I'm not sure. Yeah, that was the cola advert. Somewhere I've got the Coca-Cola polar bears button-up shirt, and I can't find it. And I wanted to wear it, but I can't find it. So Dumb Luca says, breaking, Iceland is reportedly on edge as volcanic eruption nears after 300 overnight earthquakes. Another 300 earthquakes were reported overnight, and experts are concerned that it is purely a matter of time. I call him Dumb Luca on purpose, by the way. I apologise in advance if people actually like this guy. But him and Stu Peters are on my shit list. They are absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion. And the fact that they keep going at each other, calling each other Masons, is just... It's a joke. It is a joke. Okay. So, that is probably an AI image, I would imagine. Not a good Christmas for 4K people who were told to me. No, it doesn't look like it's going to be a good Christmas, does it? I mean, obviously, seeing these things, right? I mean, seeing nature at its most destructive it is fascinating. It is beautiful. It is horrifying. It is so many emotions rolled into one. You know, as an autist, I feel in a quite hyper-inflated way, I will say. But it is, we have to take stock of the fact that whilst we all look on in almost marvel at these things, it's destructive, and it's life changing, it's life ending, it's life ruining for so many people. And it's you can't take away from that fact, though, can you? That we all just look in and we all just look on, and we like to see. It's almost like a show, isn't it? And I don't mean that offensively. I mean that in how the human race acts towards these events. Everybody wants to look in. Everybody wants to see it. Everybody wants to see the majesty, the beauty, and the glory of such destruction. And whilst it's happening, we forget about the actual destruction which is going on, the lives that are being ruined, and how can we help? And I'm not so sure we can help, to be honest. I mean, let's face it, we're a little channel on the internet. There's nothing really we can do to help, but surely, in my opinion, if you're looking at things like foreign aid and need, perhaps a rationing system could be put in place where foreign aid, if required, goes to the places most in immediate risk or need first. Because let's face it, there's no successive government in this country that's going to slash the idea of foreign aid. There are so many people that would wish that those governments slashed the idea of foreign aid, but they're not going to. So maybe we start rejigging the system. The system gets rejigged so that the people in the most immediate need get the aid first. Let's stop allocating this amount of millions or billions to this country for this year. It is messed up. It is like everything else in government, totally screwed. But remember, we have these people in power. We have these people in place who are just so damn incompetent. Every last one of them are incompetent. Now, let's not sit here and say that we could do a better job than them, because that's a given. These people are privately... Let's break this down, right? Let's break this down. These people, for the most part, because there are a couple of exceptions, the rule is that these people are privately educated. They come from rich families. They're put up through the same schools. They all know each other before they go into politics, and they've never lived in what most people would call the real world. And that's here in the United Kingdom. They've never lived that life. They've never lived hand to mouth. They never have experienced that worry of where is your next meal coming from? Are you going to be able to make the bills this month? They've never experienced any of that. And then when they get into their positions they have been pampered for of parliamentarian, they don't just get their cushy, now I think it's over £80,000 a year wage, but they get so much on top of that that they get a second home in London if they want it, paid for. They get all the bills in that second home, paid for. They get, oh my God, they get expenses. They want to take a taxi ride to go and do something official. It's paid for. Whereas if you, like, let's say you're self-employed, you need to take a taxi ride from A to B in order to do your job. You're paying for that. But if they want to take a taxi ride from A to B, hell, if they want to take a flight from A to B, you're paying for that. And that's not included in their salary. These people have never lived in the real world. And as such, they have never experienced the hardships that people they claim to represent experience. So how on earth can they enact legislation that would help people who live lives that they know nothing of? They can't. And they don't. And that's why everything they put in power, everything they put in place, makes your life worse. No, John's not. He's just feeling a little bit under the weather. He's not sick. Just feeling a little bit under the weather. And that's fine. You know, that's fine because I can sit here and hold down the fort for a little bit and make sure people have got a little bit of a show. Because, hey, that's what we do, right? That's what we do. Well, yeah, under the weather. Like I said, under the John, I was trying. What do you think of Trump saying the V word? What V word? Now you've got me. Now you've got me looking it up. Right? Now you've got me looking it up. I didn't. Oh. Oh well. Donald Trump is not your savior. First of all. And I know people don't like to hear that, but he's not. He's just another politician at the end of the day who got a taste of that politician lifestyle and loved it. And he liked to cause a little bit of shit and trolling and all of that as he went along. And do you know what? He could have been effective. And this is my opinion. My opinion is that Donald Trump could have been effective if he had simply pushed his legislation, pushed his ideals, and shut the fuck up on Twitter. And I know people won't like me saying that, but it wasn't what he was proposing for the most part in law that he would be attacked for. It was the outrageous, flamboyant, over-the-top tweets and interviews and things like that. It wasn't the actual governing side of things. So, if he had simply focused on that, focused on the job at hand, and did the things he said he was going to do, because, hey, I don't see a big, beautiful wall made of brick and steel and cement on the United States southern border, do you? Because that's what he promised. He didn't promise a fence. He promised a big, beautiful wall. That's what he said. He promised them he was going to lock up his political opponent, Hillary Clinton. But did he do any of these things? They would go to their rallies. They'd chant, lock her up, lock her up, lock her up. They'd do any of these things? He said he was going to fire Anthony Fauci. And then he would have all of the crowds at his events. Fire Fauci, fire Fauci. Did he fire Anthony Fauci? No. He's a good orator. He's a good manipulator, like any good politician should be, by the way. I say good. You get what I mean. And he's good at creating these slogans and these chants and getting people to repeat them over and over again. It was just like in the spring of 2020 when we started having these slogans presented to us on podiums telling us what to do. Just small little slogans on podiums. I won't elaborate any further because I think most people will know what I'm talking about. But Donald Trump is good he's good at creating nicknames for people as well. And those nicknames, they stick. And if anybody tries to do it to him, they just don't have the effectiveness. He's got the charisma to work a crowd. He knows what he's doing. Remember, this man is first and foremost, he's an entertainer. He's been on The Apprentice. He's been on The Apprentice for, what, 15, 20 years? Celebrity Apprentice. He knows a whole bunch of celebrities. They're all friends. He knows how to be charismatic with them. He knows what he's doing. And he's taking that experience and he's putting it out there into his rallies. And I don't blame him because he's just doing what he knows. Harold says, but should he say the V word? He should say any word he chooses to, because at the end of the day, I don't own the man, I don't control the man, and I'm not going to tell the man what he should say and what he should think and what he should run on, and neither should anybody else at the end of the day, because he is the one that speaks for him, just as you are the one that speaks for you. I am the one that speaks for me. John, for the most part, is the one that speaks for him, and Shalini, I will actually answer your question in a second. But yeah, in answer to your question, Harold, yes, it's nobody's business what he should say except his own. And that's the way it should be. I know that people won't like it, and people might not like the decision he makes, but that's his decision. I'm not his keeper. Shalini asks, so that protest this evening in Westminster, was that planned? Yes. Yeah, it was. And I believe it was Monday's show just past that I said this was going to happen. And this is what I don't get. And I will say this. What I don't get is that I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was big. I said it was going to happen. And yet, the Metropolitan Police don't seem to have prepared in any way, shape, or form for such a crowd. If I knew it was going to happen, sitting here talking to you guys, they knew it was going to happen. And they knew that it would be big. They knew that. But, two-tier policing and all of that. And before people say, oh, no, there is no two-tier policing, there bloody is. There bloody is. There are many things that I disagree with our now ex-Home Secretary on. There are things that I agree with her on. And that is one of them. Two-tier policing in this country. It's real. It's evident. It's on camera. It's on my cameras. It's true. Well, she thought she was safe until Christmas because there was going to be a reshuffle near Christmas in December. So she thought she was safe until then, and he dropped the ball and he shocked everybody. And you know what? Tonight's show was going to be about Suella gunning for his job, and I think we're just going to run that show on Monday because between now and Monday, in the eyes of Parliament, a lot can happen. And I do think she's gunning for his job. I really do. What do you guys think anyway? Do you think she's going for the premiership, the prime ministerial role? I mean, I read her letter. In fact, shall we read her letter? I'll read it. Shall we get her letter up? That's something we can do. Let's read her letter. Let's do it together. Because she put it out on Twitter. Well, if people want to hear the letter, John, it's up to them. That's why I asked. Alright, that's for Monday's show. But anyway, a spoiler alert. She's pretty right in that letter. she's pretty correct, but also a hypocrite. And I will elaborate on that on Monday, as John said. I think she's a major part of the problem, to be honest. You know, but we will get there on Monday. Why then is Keith Starmer trending tonight? Let's have a look. Let's go over to the Twitter. Let's have a look. Let's see this little tweet here from Unity News Network. Starmer, I regret that some colleagues felt unable to support the position tonight, but I wanted to be clear about where I stood and where I will stand. Leadership is about doing the right thing. That is the least the public deserves. The vast majority of people want a ceasefire. And then UNN go on here to say Starmer is a puppet. Well, maybe. But it's also very clear that a Labour government would not be safe from the criticisms of Twitter, just like Rishi Sunak is clearly not safe from the criticisms of Twitter. He's scared to shit of the criticisms of Twitter. Of course he is. That's why he starts doing things like changing tack when the heat gets too much on Twitter. It's like the same thing happens over and over again. So some random bot account will start kicking up on Twitter, then more bots will retweet that, and then more people who are stupid, sorry, will start sharing these hot political takes, and then the mainstream media latch onto it. Then the mainstream media latch onto it, and then all of a sudden the government gets scared. And look how many on Twitter think we're doing something wrong. Oh my god! And then all of a sudden, they start changing course and changing tact, and then things like happened this week, and Suella Braverman gets fired, and the cabinet gets reshuffled ahead of time because Rishi Sunak's scared to shit of Twitter, and I don't know why. Because let's face it, this man was not elected by anybody. He wasn't even elected by his own damn party. His own damn party rejected him in favour of Liz Truss. I'm Liz Truss, and I didn't last as long as a lettuce. She didn't last as long as a lettuce, but the party members picked her. And do you know what? I thought her budget was pretty okay. It was pretty okay. It didn't go far enough. There needs to be things like slashes in VAT and more. But it was pretty okay. But they used that. Rishi Sunak and Suella Braverman and others got together in a little cabal behind the scenes and formed up this coup and took control of the government. They took control. He lost the leadership election, and Rishi weren't having that. So he undermined her. He did everything he could. He got his little friends and spies and political allies to undermine this woman. Didn't allow her to even attempt to govern, and deposed her, took her out of play, and installed himself as our prime minister without any election, not even of the party members. So he has no mandate, not even from his own party. So he probably is terrified of public opinion because he knows he's on shaky ground. And let's face it, a Conservative Party with Rishi Sunak at the helm cannot win a general election. It can't. He knows it. They know it. They all know it. Labour knows it. The Lib Dem know it. Even the Green Party and Alba know it. They cannot win an election with Rishi Sunak at the helm. And they won't. And then we'll get a Keith Starmer government next. And whew, if you thought what we had now was bad, and trust me, I do, you ain't seen nothing yet. That's all I'm going to say on that. Rob Bruce says, failure on diversity stats this year. He's failed on loads. They just keep failing. I mean, Rishi Sunak fails his way upwards. Remember, this is the man that claims just today to have halved inflation. I've halved inflation. Rishi, you caused inflation. You are 100% responsible for the inflation that we are going through. It's not Brexit. It's not geopolitical wars. It is 100% government restrictions that closed our economy and then Rishi Sunak signing a blank fucking check for the entire country to collect on furlough. That is how we are in the economic situation that we are in. The economy was not running. Nothing was going in, plenty was coming out. Printing funny money via quantitative easing. And when you do that, the base value of your economy is finite. So when you continue to print money and pump it into your economy, all of that money that's in there, all of those notes become worth slightly less. And that's called inflation. And when you continually do it and there's no cogs turning to bring anything back in, that's called hyperinflation. And why do you think we are where we are? Nothing to do with Brexit. Nothing to do with wars. Everything to do with decisions and paperwork and legislation enacted, signed off, and spearheaded by Rishi Sunak. That's the facts. That's how we are where we are. And yet he has the audacity, the gall, the balls to go up on a stage and go, I've halved the inflation. You caused it. I mean, I mean, what else can I say? What else can I say? And do you know what? On that note, I think it might be time to just bow out, struck while the iron's hot, say goodnight, and all of that. So if you have enjoyed this little chat, our little conversation with Shalini, which I really did enjoy and I really appreciated, then please don't forget to hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. And of course, share it. Share out our other shows. Go watch some of our other shows and give them some love as well. The podcast that John just did with Latimer Alder is doing very well. And absolutely it should be, because it's a very good conversation. So, with that, thank you, Rob Bruce. I really appreciate that. I really do. No, that's really nice. Thank you. No, yeah. With that though, I've got to start queuing. I don't even know if I've got the correct outro queued up. I don't know. Doesn't matter because there's probably one in there. One more thing. If you'd like to support us, you know the links are in the pinned comment. Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/chasing dissent, patreon.com/chasing dissent, or indeed you can join us here by clicking the join button on YouTube. Also, you can sponsor my balls. That's right, you can sponsor my balls, and we've got some white ones as well, to go on the Chasing Dissent Christmas tree over there by donating £10 or more for your name and a message on a ball at paypal.me/wheeliebricks. Link is there in the chat if you'd like a ball on my tree. In fact, it will not be that tree, because that tree is going bye-bye and a much bigger tree is coming in the next couple of days. So otherwise, I've rambled on enough. I hope you've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed this. I certainly have. It's been good for me, and it's been great for you.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking